I think you should buy my Yo-Yo Dine stock. And I think that Facebook stock is a better store of value than the US dollar. And if I think that, Sailor Moon coin is really good, or Sailor Moon 2 coin, because there's not just one coin, right? There's multiple Sailor Moon coins, or Son of Shiba dog coin is whatever. Now, the issue really is it property? People say, the maximalists say there's only one thing. Let me give you a more nuanced view. It's not that I think that it's impossible to create another property token. It's possible. For example, if you took a fork of Bitcoin, if the Chinese government forked Bitcoin and they created China coin, and they said it's only legal to mine China coin in China, and you can custody China coin, you can sell and trade China coin, and you can mine China coin, and they started with a fork of Bitcoin, they would have basically created a sovereign form of property. If the Canadian government said you can use the same Bitcoin protocol or something comparable to the Bitcoin protocol, and they said you can mine Canada coin in Canada, then you could imagine, like, if you're a Canadian investor, you might want to own that. Like, just like if you're in Canada, land in Canada is property. You see, I don't want to own it, because I don't want to live in Canada, and I don't want to own Chinese land. But land in China and land in Canada are property. Bitcoin is global property. If I'm a global investor, I want to own the global thing because that's the strongest network effect, because a guy in Tokyo or London or Paris might want to buy my Bitcoin for me. But you can create a crypto property network by making it legal tender, or by giving it a tax advantage, or by just simply saying it's illegal to mine anything other than Canada coin in Canada. And Canadian banks can handle Canada coin, and Canadian banks cannot handle anything else, or maybe they can handle Bitcoin and Canada coin. You've got two forms of property. Just look, silver and gold are property. There could be multiple forms of property, but here's where you go awry. If I start a company and I issue half the tokens to my friends and family, and I control the protocol, and then I sell 10% of the tokens to the public, and if I have the ability to change the monetary policy, I have to disclose to the public who it is that controls the policies. What if I were to sell you, like if I sold 1 million shares of MicroStrategy, and then like 2 years later, you found out that I actually had 100 million more shares I didn't tell you about, right? Something like that, right? It's a problem. The thing that's powerful about Bitcoin, which makes it a solution to a $250 to $500 trillion problem, is we have perfected a crypto property, at least one, in cyberspace. And the monetary policy of Bitcoin is pretty much set in stone on Pizza Day. If you roll the clock back to May 22nd, 2010, it was like, we're going to issue this much Bitcoin between now and 2140, and we're going to run off of transaction fees for the next 1,000 years. And if you were to say to me, Mike, what is the monetary policy and how's the network going to work for the next 1,000 years? I can credibly describe it. And if you said, do you think it's going to change? No. With good faith, I can say to you, I think I know the monetary policy. I don't think anybody can change it. I can't change it. I have no intention to change it. And so that's what makes it useful for $500 trillion worth of companies, insurance companies, governments, banks, to use this as what? As a foundation for a balance sheet. It's like, I want to build New York. I'm going to want to build New York on granite or schist. New York's built on schist. It's a very heavy stone. Now, is it easy to move? No. Is it high speed? No. What's it do? It just lays there. Does it need to do anything? No. You want something with durability, integrity, predictability. You want the heavy. If Manhattan happens to be a very heavy rock. Now, we did a lot of stuff on top of it. Right? We built, the buildings are like platforms. They're like exchanges, right? And then The companies are securities. We built things, we traded things. You know, there's been more than one country that controlled Manhattan. You know, there's been different currencies. There's probably been who knows how many currencies traded in Manhattan. Stuff comes and it goes. But the foundation of Manhattan, which is property, what you want it to be is heavy and durable. So when you look at everything else, I would just say, yeah, they're all interesting, but they're competing. If they're competing as non-compliant tokens, then they're going to work in the gray market. And will they be able to become compliant? And what does it mean to be compliant? Will you be able to trade these tokens for the next 10 years? And will you have to make a disclosure? And what's the disclosure? And what will the SEC say? And I don't know, right? It's like that is venture capital and it's speculation. And if you see the world as crypto only, then you live in that world. But you got to keep in mind that Fortnite can issue tokens and Activision can issue tokens. So you're competing against Facebook and Microsoft and Google and Apple. And you're like, well, why aren't they in the market right now? Well, because certain things are non-compliant and they're illegal. That's why they're not in the market right now, right? That's why they're not. And what you have is you have an industry crossing the chasm. The first decade was offshore entrepreneurial, Wild West. And then the next decade is onshore institutional. And we're in the middle. And we're going to be in the middle for 3 to 5 years. And what do you have? You have like Tether, like it's an offshore entrepreneurial successful company. Does the world need it? Yeah, the world needs it. If you're in Turkey or Argentina and you need dollars and your choice is lose your dollars in the bank or whatever, you need it, right? Will Apple or Microsoft use it? No, right? So will they become public and get registered in the U.S.? You know, will it be small companies in the U.S. that grow to be big companies like Silvergate Bank? Will it be offshore entrepreneurs that come onshore? Or will it be JP Morgan, Bank of America, or Goldman Sachs? Will they back into this business? The truth is, nobody knows. Right? My best bet would be, if I had to forecast, I would say that there'll always be some gray market offshore. There's something. But I don't think the massive growth is there. The $100 trillion opportunity is to provide the foundation for the $500 trillion worth of capital in Western Europe and the United States. If you can be half of that or a third of that, right? That's a mega opportunity, right?